Every second Friday here on Big Blend Radio's Vacation Station Food, Wine, and Travel Show, we get to chat with travel writers from the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. So basically every second Friday we go around the world and across the country, and it's pretty darn cool.
It is.
I know. Today we're going to Taos, New Mexico. It's up in northern New Mexico near Santa Fe, Albuquerque area, and we're going to chat with Linda Milks. She is a travel writer. She likes food, wine, travel just like we do. And she writes all about it in her blog. It is toastingfoodwinetravel.com, and we're very excited to have her back on the show. She was on our show before talking about the conference that was in Santa Fe, New Mexico for the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. It was held last year in November. They've got another one coming up in Fort Lauderdale in November this year. So I encourage you to go to their website. It is IFTWA.org. But Linda's back. The first time she was on, she was talking about Lafayette, Lafayette, Louisiana, and talking about gators and gumbo and, all kinds of Zydeco breakfast brunch parties. And today she's talking about Taos, the Pueblo, and the art colony and all of the amazing art experiences that she had. And she even had a bread-making lesson in a Horno.
How much fun is that?
I know. I encourage you to go to the website taospueblo.com. Also, her article is up now on nationalparktraveling.com in our New Mexico section, and you'll also see it in the upcoming issue of Parks and Travel magazine in the early summer issue. So welcome back, Linda. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Just very
good.
excited to tell you all about my experience.
Well, this is unique and different. When you go to a Pueblo, there's cultural tradition, heritage to learn about. There's the arts, right, the cultural arts, but there's also an education for us all going to a place like Taos, right? It's a little bit different than because you're based out in Southern California, so was it kind of a night and day different experience?
Oh, yes. What Taos is such an amazing city. I just was really excited about it. And to go to the Pueblo was one of the highlights, really, of the whole trip to me, to go to Santa Fe and Taos. But I love the Pueblo and learning about the history of it. And that's something I wanted to do for a long time.
Very cool. Now,
and what we saw...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it was constructed between 1000 and 1450 AD, so it's the oldest continuously inhabited community in our country. It's pretty incredible.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Now, I know this was part of the Santa Fe conference, right? So was this like was it like a day trip, or were you staying in Taos or Santa Fe when you went to the Pueblo?
It was a post-conference trip, and I was lucky to get to go, and we stayed at El Monte Sagrado Resort in Taos, which is really one of the most fascinating, beautiful resorts I've ever stayed at. So if you ever head to Taos, that is the spot to stay. Just gorgeous.
Nice.
Gorgeous.
Very cool.
Lots of the architecture is very true to the area, and each room is unique and just wonderful.
Nice.
See,
I like that.
Yeah, we did. I think when you keep sense of place, that's really important. I think New Mexico, I know they're the land of enchantment, but they also are getting known as New Mexico True, because I think it's one of those states that really embrace who it is naturally and culturally, and whether you're in Silver City, New Mexico, or Santa Fe, you're going to find that it's really authentic and real. And as travelers, that's something I think we all seek. That's why we travel. So, when you think, look at Santa Fe, right, and going the downtown plaza area, so authentic. So Taos, because we haven't been to Taos yet, so does that kind of mirror that same adobe feeling, that kind of Pueblo style?
Definitely the same kind of style, but it's much more rural. So when you're out in the country, there's like I can't remember the name of the canyon, but there's a very deep canyon. There's like a lot of pines and brush around, and you just feel a little more out in the country than you do in Santa Fe, and it's got its own feel to it. So,
very cool.
and it's a big ski area too. Although we didn't do any skiing, but it's a big ski area too. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a big ski area. That's right. And we think about the Southwest. We always forget about the Southwest gets snow. And right now,
it does.
Right now, as you know, we're recording this, and it's your birthday, everybody. Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Yeah, we're sheltered in place in 29 Palms, California. So we're in Southern California, and it's it's warm and things are heating up out here. So you think about like snow and skiing out in Taos. It's like, what? Does that exist? But it really does. And I think it's not even high desert, is it? It's like a whole other kind of vibe because you've got the dry air, but it's a very healthy atmosphere. I think that area, that part of New Mexico.
Yeah, I agree. I think that people are very outdoor oriented, very healthy. It surprised me when I was there to find that there's so many areas that are 5,000, 7,000. I'm sure those mountains are even more than 7,000 feet high. So they're, they can. I never realized they could grow wine there, for instance. In some of this area, and skiing just blows my mind because I always think of it as being like a hot desert area, and it certainly isn't just that.
Right. Now you went to the actual Pueblo and had a guide, Geronimo, and was it Angelisa Murray that took you out there?
Yes. She's with, I think it's her own company. It's called Heritage Inspirations. And Angelisa was the person that took us out there. Actually, she also works through this El Monte Sagrado Resort. And she knows Geronimo, has led tours out there. And I would recommend anyone that wants to go to the Pueblo to hook up with this Heritage Inspirations and Angelisa, because you get an experience that you would never get just going out on your own, wandering around the Pueblo. You actually get a very personal relationship, and you get to see this Horno Oven working, and it's much more engaging than just looking around.
And the Horno, see, we were laughing about that today because where we are at 29 Palms and Homestead Inn, it's not a bed and breakfast anymore, but she has a Horno out here.
She has a Horno.
And it's a little entertainment area, and people, she has, family and roots in Santa Fe and Taos. She loves the whole inn is like, I feel like we're in Taos. And, the Horno out here, she because we're in the lower desert, well, we're in the high desert, but we're not in that area, she's had to explain to everybody that this is a Horno and this is what it does, and you could make pizza in there if you wanted,
Oh yeah.
So she has one,
definitely.
But yeah, so she explains it to people all the time that it's like an adobe oven, it looks like a little beehive.
It does.
Yeah,
it's
cool. It's great.
I love it.
So this Geronimo makes 350 loaves sometimes for feast days. He does.
Oh my gosh!
He is really does a lot of cooking in this, a lot of baking.
Wow,
that's a big Horno. I mean, it's I'm like looking. Yeah, I'm thinking about like how much work goes into that. But now with this bread, because we hear about fry bread, but this bread, it looks like these big luscious loaves, really. And then you've got hatch chilies with them, right?
Right. So what they did is they were like individual puffy, great rolls, kind of a little bit like Hawaiian rolls, but not quite that sweet, but big and puffy. And there were maybe 12 of them in a cluster. And then so he made the rolls, had it all put together when we got there, and put it in the first they heated the oven. Then he and Angelisa took the coals out, put them beside the oven. He put in the loaves of bread, and she put the hatch chilies on top of those coals so that they could get all charred. Wow. And then when the bread came out, then the chilies were ready to go too, and she and Geronimo slit them open, took the seeds out, and chopped them up. And we got to smear our own butter all over a roll. It was so good. And then they put on the hatch chilies and a little salt, and it was heaven.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That sounds
yes.
awesome.
I know.
Really,
I want some right now.
Yeah, I know. I want to go sit by the Horno.
And I love the chilies too, man. That's a whole other deal. That's awesome. So So you get this, this food experience, the cultural, lessons, and learning, and then you went to the art colony. So it's the art colony outside of the Pueblo.
Oh, yes. The art colony is kind of in downtown. As far as I know, it's downtown Taos. Of course, we were driven there, and I'm terrible with directions, but I'm pretty sure
welcome to my world.
Taos. Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, and there are over 60 galleries in downtown Taos in that that make up the art colony, and it's a Taos Gallery Association that is the group that kind of advertises it and promotes it, and just wonderful galleries, just one right next to another. And yeah, I think that what I got out of it, not only is the artwork beautiful, but you learn so much about the history of the area from going from gallery to gallery, because there will be contemporary art, but there'll also be a lot of historical art too, and some of the Native American influence, and just all kinds of good things in those galleries.
So I like it where you can just walk from one to the other, and that the galleries are each unique and different. What I thought was very cool about you going to this colony and then going through all the different galleries is that you got to go meet Susanna Starr, and John Lampkin has been on our show. He's a IFTWA travel writer for a number of years. I know him and Susanna were on the show a while ago with her book talking about Zapotec weaving. So you actually got to go into her it's a gallery, really, right? And actually witness.
Yeah, it is. It's called Star Interiors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's if you love color, it's just such a visual delight because there's so much color everywhere you look. It's incredible.
I want to give a shout out to a book. It's called Our Interwoven Lives with the Zapotec Weavers, An Odyssey of Love. It is a beautiful, beautiful book, and it really goes into being the Zapotec rugs, and they're from Mexico and Oaxaca. So they go back and forth to the villages there, which is a really cool story in itself, and they've become friends. And so this is really neat having it in Taos because there's a connection there, I think, culturally.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they have lived in those. Well, Susanna has lived in the Oaxacan villages, and so she really knows the area, and she has families that she works with to get weavings from. So, and even the loom that they do some of their own work on, which they call Line of the Spirit, is a loom that's from that village.
Wow. That's cool.
So when they're weaving it, they're working on designs from Oaxaca and using the loom from there.
Yeah, it's kind of it's their own design, but it's based on what they've seen from the Zapotec rugs that they use. They bring those rugs too, and the other Mexican decor, but they have their own line called Line of the Spirit, and it actually was covered on the cover of Architectural Digest, and celebrities have bought it like Paul Simon and Sting. So it's really quite well known, and it follows the design of the Zapotec rugs.
Very cool. Oh man, I love rugs, and there's all stories in between with all the.
Well, all those designs mean something.
Right.
They actually have they have meanings that go way, 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 way back into the tribal folklore or religion, whatever word you want to use for that. There's meanings for all those designs and colors.
Yeah.
I think that going to Star Interiors gives you a real understanding of that Mexican Zapotec culture too, and it's wonderful. And you can do that if you call ahead of time. Susanna will spend a lot of time with you. At least that's what she says, and I'm sure that's it because she loves it so much that you'll get to learn about the culture besides just looking at her rugs.
Right.
Cool.
Right. And now, what about the rest of the galleries? Did each one I was looking at some of the photos you have of the art, and it's like, wow, color, vibrancy, everybody's, unique and different. So you went to David Anthony Fine Art. Tell us about him, because this is kind of what I thought was neat is you're able to communicate with everyone. You know, a lot of times you go in a gallery and you never get to talk to the artist. So
right.
Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah. David Mapes, who's the director of the Taos Gallery Association, was the one that led our tour. And his gallery is the David Anthony Fine Art Gallery. And what's so interesting about David is he builds things, and his grandfather built and his uncles built, and he builds furniture, but it's not just like regular furniture. It's made out of sustainable wood, and he says he follows the way of the wood when he builds. And he calls his styles Taos Jazz, New Mexico Deco, Contemporary Southwest. So each one is like a signature piece. It's an art piece to put in your home. And then he has these beautiful little boxes if you don't want to bring home some big piece of furniture that also show how he knows how to work with the wood. And then he does have others. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say a piece of art, whether it's a carving or a painting, is really a look at the artist's mind, what's going on in there. You know, it's their mind and it's their heart. And their physical ability to put it together. So it's really looking at somebody's almost I want to say spirit, but I'm not meaning it in the way that they're dead. I mean it in the way that, especially when they're actively working on a piece, that's when the spirit is most active. And I think you know the desire to communicate to somebody else in an art form it's an interesting concept.
I agree, and bringing home some piece, whether it's a big piece or a little piece, is such a wonderful way to remember that great trip.
Yeah,
and the trip to the gallery.
Yeah. Wow, this is neat. And then you went to see Maya Torres, and so this is interesting. It was Studio 107-B. So this is now you're getting into contemporary art with her work.
Yes, yeah. I loved her gallery. When I walked in, I was just kind of blown away. It's not, I wouldn't say it's the most beautiful gallery, but it's very interesting. It's very contemporary, and she changes her theme every 6 weeks. And just most all of her artists are New Mexico artists, and just very interesting pieces. Like there were some that were a little more traditional, like the two little girls playing cat's cradle. And then there was a wood piece that I loved that looked like it was on the bow of a ship at one point in time, a wood carving. And really amazing pieces of artwork and a lot of contemporary. Yeah.
And then what about Wilder Nightingale Fine Art? I want my name. I like that as a name, Nightingale.
Oh yeah, isn't it great? Yeah, Robert Wilder Nightingale is the owner, and he was there, and he'll just charm you to death. First of all.
Wow!
Yeah, he's very, very charming, sweet. Yeah, and his gallery won the 2019 First Place People's Choice Award for best art gallery in Taos.
A lot of charming going on.
Yeah, right, exactly. He did a lot of that charming. Yeah. He had this amazing piece called Spirit of Resolution, and it was like a Native American complete headdress and garb, and next to it there was an explanation of what all the different parts of that garb meant. It was fascinating. Yeah, really.
Wow.
Yeah. And I like that. I really love that sort of thing.
And all of the art that I was looking at is just so, it has movement and a story and vibrancy, and I'm like, I want to go. You also went to McCormick Gallery, and is it Timothy Nevaguaya? I'm sure if
I'm guessing too.
I should never
like that.
Where's that wine? That's New Mexico wine. I need help on that. But but this is going more into understanding his heritage, the Comanche heritage.
Right. Evidently, his father His father was, I think, also an artist. And Timothy Navangayo, or however we hope to say his name, he not only is an artist, but he's a flutist. And he, from his dad, he learned about the Comanche heritage, and you can just feel the soul of his background and his heritage in his artwork and the brilliant colors and the flow. The flow is incredible. I just fell in love with his work.
Yeah, that's
exactly
that movement.
A big enough spot. I wish I had a whole blank white wall I could put his paintings on. They're incredible.
I think he should just paint the whole wall.
That would be fun.
I think you might be right.
He does. Yeah. He's got movement, and I think that, Nancy, you're an artist. And
well, if when you play a musical instrument of any kind, that enhances how you paint.
Mm-hmm.
Because you kind of paint to music in your head, if I can put it that way.
Yeah, you got to let it flow. And Timothy, we're very sorry if we butchered your last name. We have no intention of doing that. But I wish he was on the show. We could ask him.
I know.
How to pronounce it. But it is beautiful, beautiful art. So when people go, this is really about understanding different cultures, different art, getting to get bread and beautiful bread and food. And then you're saying also this whole natural surrounding had to be really part of the whole experience of Taos.
Yes. Yeah, it's breathtaking. It really is. And you just feel the earth around you and the nature. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. My only regret is I didn't get to stay long enough.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, would you go back? Yeah, would you go back?
Oh, I want to go back in a heartbeat. I'm going to try to see if I can get another stay at that El Monte Sagrado resort. So incredible. I didn't get to do the pool or the spa. The restaurant's wonderful. I could just stay there, but I don't want to because there's too much else in Taos.
You want to go do everything there. Yeah.
Right.
Right. So it's an art colony, and I love art colonies because it's just there's something freeing about it where people can't tell you what to do. Art doesn't, there is no what to do in art. I mean, I understand when art, when you study art, there's that. It's like learning your scales in music, right? But
exactly.
Once you've done that, it's a free-for-all, man. We need art.
When you get the basics down, then you can be more creative instead of spending your time trying to come up with the basics yourself.
Mhm. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wonderful.
So, how was the conference in Santa Fe?
Oh, the conference. Oh, it was wonderful. It just, they went out of their way to show us just the best time ever. I have to say the Visitors Bureau there, Joanne, was just so amazing. Awesome. And I loved going to what is it called? We went to the Santa Fe School of Cooking and had a cooking class there at night and dinner. And Meow Wolf was over the top different. It's like an adult Disneyland to go to Meow Wolf. And at the conference center one day they had wine tasting and samples of food from maybe 10 different restaurants for us to try. They just really went overboard to show us everything there is in Santa Fe. Wonderful.
I think Santa Fe is magical when it comes to art too. There was a museum hill that we started getting into. We got into the Botanical Garden, which I want to go back to. And we went to the Folk Art Museum. Now, talk about really learning the world's cultures. It's like being in a visual art, but it's like storytelling with all kinds of it's like craft, but it's art. That is. I've never been to a museum like that in my life, and that was crazy. Like in a good way. It opens your mind, and the art in Santa Fe, I know it's one of the top art markets in the world, but you can't really even prepare yourself for how much art there is. It's like you're in this vivid sensory thing, and when you go to bed at night, it's like you're sleeping in color from everything that you saw that day. It's like there's so much color, there's so many different stories. I want to go back there too, and I want to go to Taos now too, Nancy. We got to go back.
Well, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, that's why we go in circles all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Oh, your dog wants to go too.
He wants to go too. He says,
my dog,
let's go.
It's her birthday.
It's my birthday. I think people are delivering stuff, is what I think.
Oh,
so, and then
getting more champagne.
Yeah, and my dog has to protect the house. So, any time anyone rings the doorbell.
Well, champagne for you. Well, happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Well, listen, thank you so much for joining. It's always a pleasure catching up with you. Are you going to go to the Fort Lauderdale conference?
Yeah, we are, it's kind of, we're trying to figure out exactly how we're going to handle that conference because of everything that's been going on. So just, just keep an eye out for it and see, what comes of what we're going to do with it, okay?
Yeah, everybody's kind of under that. It's, especially the whole travel and tourism world. And just on that, I want to say, of course, best you can, don't cancel, postpone. You know, keep supporting the towns and the destinations. It really supports small business. And when I say small business, I'm talking about the giant corporations. I'm talking that call themselves small businesses. I'm talking about mom and pop stores, the art galleries, the restaurants,
the historic
the
downtown.
hotels. Yeah. So we want to keep Main Street America open, and around the world we want that same thing for everyone. So I think
I put the phone numbers for the galleries in the article too. So the phone numbers on the website, because you can continue to order from them, or if you do happen to go to Taos before everything is completely opened up, you can call and make separate appointments where they will show you through the gallery. So it's just you and the gallery owner.
It's another Zoom. Yeah, experience what you can through what we have virtually too, if things aren't open yet. Exactly, that's a good point. It's a good point because we're all going to take, it's going to be it's like learning to walk. Suddenly we're going to go out of our house and we're going to go, oh my gosh, the sunlight.
No, this is a really good time to plan a few trips for in the future.
Exactly.
So really good to do your research, get on the internet, and plan your next few trips.
Do a cool road trip, man. I think that's what everyone's going to be doing, a lot of regional and a lot of road tripping. And but, go out there, enjoy. And it's through the conference, the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association, if you're a writer, a blogger, a photographer, or the destination. This is time to move forward, not stop. It is time to keep our messages out there. It is time to connect and work together. So IFTWA, as we call it, the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association, is one of those best organizations that you can get together and everyone network and work together and support each other. The travel writers go to the destinations, then those stories get shared with the world, and the destinations get the travelers. So this is a win-win for everybody. So the website is IFTWA.org. For everyone to go connect there. And hopefully the conference will still be on, but if not, you just, as everybody is dealing with this, with festivals across the country and conferences, I'm sure if it's not in person, there'll be something virtually that can happen. I know IFTWA is doing a lot of different webinars and with destinations. So there's always something that's going to happen. So just go to IFTWA.org. You can become a member, sign up for the newsletter, also follow them on social media. So there's good stuff happening. And, Linda, we just got to all work together and have wine together.
Exactly. Yep. It'll all work out, and we'll all get to travel and experience together, too. It's wonderful. Thank you both, Nancy and Lisa. Thank you for this opportunity to talk with both of you. I hope you're going to have a good weekend coming up.
You too. Listen, have a wonderful rest of your birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Everyone, again, you can go to taospueblo.com. Also, keep up with Linda on her website. It's toastingfoodwinetravel.com. And, again, the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association is IFWTWA.org. And you can read Linda's article up on nationalparktraveling.com, and you'll see it in the early summer issue of Parks and Travel magazine. Thanks, Linda. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy travels.
You too.